Hello, everybody. Thank you. I'm very honored to be here this morning, and I hope I can inspire you with my story on. Can everyone hear me? Like this, huh? Yeah. I hope I can inspire you with my story about empathy. So, yeah, today's theme is empathy. And I don't know if you know the company that we started two years ago, Afrique, but I can imagine you think it has something to do with Africa. And before I start, I wanted to ask someone here, what's your first thought if you think about empathy in connection with Africa? Anyone? I see you laughing. That's what people expect, yes. So it's true. For me also, the first thing that comes to mind is helping Africa where they need our help. That's what we think. And today I want to show you a slightly different view. So first I'll introduce myself a little bit. My name is Sivan Breemhaar. Me and my business partner Kars Gerrits started Afrique in 2013, and what we do with Afrique is we combine Dutch design with African culture and craftsmanship, and we do so by working with African fabrics and tailors in Kigali. And yeah, here you can see the blazers that we make, our first collection. So in this talk, I want to tell you something about empathy and in what way it inspires us in our design, in our vision, and the things we make. So, of course, it seems very obvious that when you talk about empathy and Africa, you think about helping, and that's also what people ask me. When I tell them about my company, they say like, oh, and your tailors in Rwanda, how much percentage of your revenues go back to the tailors? And do you actually see the life of the people you work with improving because you're there? And so what you see is really everyone thinks about Africa and helping. And if you're doing business in Africa, you're helping. And it's not so strange, I think, because the image that the media gives us about Africa is pretty negative. So we know Africa for its dictators, for its hunger maybe, for its wars, for poverty. And that's what the news is telling us, and that's what NGOs like UNICEF are telling us to get money. So when Margot asked me to do this talk about empathy and Afrique, I was very honored, but I was also a little bit unsure. So I told my best friend about it, and she was like, it's really cool, but I really think empathy is not a good theme for you because you don't want to show an image of helping Africa, and you don't want to show like the negative idea of Africa. And it's true, because the image that I want to show you is this, like a happy and colorful and inspiring continent. So when I went to Rwanda for the first time in 2011 for my research, for my master's, I realized that it's maybe the negative image that we have of Africa that keeps the inequality strong, that keeps us thinking that we should help Africa, and actually thinking in a paternalistic way, like we should help them, we should educate them according to our ideas. And I thought, what if this negative image of Africa is actually the reason why inequality is so strong in our minds. And so what I wanted to do with Afrique is show a different side of Africa, and also like show a positive view, and also work together based on equality instead of wanting to help. For example, what people don't know about Rwanda, for example, is that it's a very progressive country, and that plastic bags are forbidden. You cannot take them in. So, and I think it's the only country. So this is a picture of me on the airport. I came in with rolls of lining for our blazers. And then they told me, no, you cannot bring those in. And I was like, shit, can I not bring my lining that I brought all the way from Europe? And then said, no, only remove the plastic and then you're fine. So it was very interesting. And what I want to tell you with the story is that I actually don't want to be connected with empathy in the first place. However, I really wanted to do this talk this day, so I had to find a connection somehow. So I did some research, and I remembered this movie that I once saw on empathy by a scholar whose name is Brené Brown, and she's in social work. Brené Brown talked about sympathy versus empathy, and about the 4 qualities of empathy. So there's perspective taking, staying out of judgment, recognizing emotion, and communicating that. And in this way, in these 4 points, I could identify with what we're doing with Afrique. In the way that we treat the inequality, or we look at the inequality between the West and Africa. Because what if we could take the perspective of the other and like learn new things and stay out of judgment, but actually see what qualities there are and what beautiful things, and communicating that in the sense that we are evaluating the beautiful things that they're making there, and actually connect them with our own and showing that to everyone. And it's okay. And I can tell you it's rather difficult to do this. For example, staying out of judgment was very difficult for me when I went to Rwanda the first time, because I came there, I thought I was open-minded, and then I was doing research and I was interviewing students. And at one time I was interviewing the student and I had to yawn. So I tried to hide it, but he saw it anyway. And then he said like, oh, do you want to eat something? Are you hungry? And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, yes, if you're yawning, it means that you're hungry. So do you want to eat something? And I'm like, no, if you're yawning, it means you're tired. And I just didn't sleep enough last night. And I actually thought that it was really stupid of him to tell me that I had to eat something. And I thought it had to do something with, you don't understand. But then I realized that I wasn't right and he wasn't wrong, because coming from a culture where sleep is actually, the biggest lack, we're always busy. Look at us sitting here this morning. It seems logical that when you're, when you have your lack of energy, it's because of not having sleep enough. While in Africa, where people are definitely more relaxed, and maybe the lack of food is a bigger problem than the lack of sleep, it's more logical that when you're yawning, you say, oh, maybe you're hungry. So both things have to do with energy level. So I think, it's the culture that is very different, and it's very difficult also then to connect with this in this way. So what I wanted to say is, with this example, is that the empathy in many times, like you said also, it doesn't really come natural to us, always. But I really believe in what she says when she says, rarely can a response make something better. What makes something better is connection. And that's where I can recognize what we do with Afrique. We really want to connect here, the Netherlands, Europe, with Kigali, Rwanda, and Africa. And we do so through design and through the craftsmanship that they're making there. So we started with a collection of blazers, and our vision is really working together as equals and bringing together Dutch design with the African print fabrics and the craftsmanship that they have there, and working together with the local tailors. So we started with the blazers, and my colleague Kars, he went to Rwanda to look for tailors who were qualified to work with us, and we really looked for local entrepreneurs so that, you know, we could really find a way to work together on an equal basis. So we actually only made agreements based on the quality that we wanted and the time delivery we wanted, but we let them work in their own way, like we would do with a company in Germany. And so this is Kars with Maiga, who we work with for 2 years already. And of course, it's very difficult to work together based on these ideas, because, for example, what we wanted to do is we wanted to pay afterwards, only when we knew the quality was right and only when we knew the time delivery was like we wanted. And it took us a while to realize that that's really not the way they work there, because they work there in a way that they get half the money beforehand and half the money afterwards. And so that was some struggle that we found. And yes. But this is my guy. He's very funny. He's a very funny guy. And what we wanted to do with our collection is to connect here with there. So what we did is, of course, show you pictures. Also on the website, introduce Maiga. We have a little bit of an interview on the website, but this is what everyone can do. So we wanted to take it a step further, and we added a story label to our garments. So in the story label, we stamp the name of the tailor, and here you can also stamp your own name, so you're really connected in a way to the one who made your blazer. And it's actually very nice, because when people wear blazers, they, of course, you know, everyone sees the colorful blazer that they're wearing. They notice it, they say something about it, and then people can actually show the inside of the blazer and say, like, look, in this case, Abu Bakr made this blazer for me, which is really nice. And they do it often. And so this is a very nice thing, but what we did further is we wanted to make a little bit more of a connection. So we started a pop-up shop, actually not far from here, and we introduced our new collection. And here's a movie that shows you how we added even more connection.
For our collection launch, we did something that really suits Afrique. We opened a small pop-up store in the heart of Amsterdam, with a big story to tell. We invited fashion lovers and bloggers to try our colourful collection. And with this collection, we want you to travel back to the first stitch. While trying on a fresh new summer look, we surprised our visitors with a secret message. A Polaroid hidden inside the clothing. A real photo telling the story behind the garment by showing the maker and the origin of the first stitch. Everybody wearing Afrique could also make a Polaroid, which we put next to the maker, an instant memory worth sharing. And what about the Polaroids we took? Well, we sent them back to the makers of that first stitch. Discover our Summer 2015 collection.
So this was really nice, and people reacted very nicely on it. And the day we went filming in Rwanda, I brought the pictures with me, and I wanted to, you know, I put them on a pile on the table just to make sure that they didn't see it, because I want to capture their first reaction on film. But of course, they took them already, and here you see them, Marianne and Diane, laughing about all the Muzungus. That's how they call the, white people. laughing at all the Muzungus in the clothing that they made. It was really nice. And I also heard a story about someone here in Holland who bought one of our blazers and is actually wearing the Polaroid picture inside his breast pocket, so that if someone tells him, like, oh, nice blazer, then you can show him, like, actually, this is the tailor that made my garment. Yes. So I think empathy is actually the core of what we're doing with Afrique. It's really about connecting here with there. And I really believe that what makes something better is connection in this sense. So in this way, you can discover more about other cultures. You can really connect with individuals around the globe. And I think that's really, it's really beautiful if we can do that and learn from each other, even though we're so far away, and even though it's a culture that's so different and so maybe stigmatized also in the case of Africa. So, well, I hope this story inspired you to, in the way you approach others and the way you look at Africa and also the world. And that's it. Thank you.